African Americans remain missing 4 times longer than white Americans.
That number is alarming.
We hear from families all the time, the police is turning us away, the media wouldn't respond.
Wow, a new documentary is shedding light on the shocking disparity involving missing people of color. All last month, DBL featured some of those cases, but there is one organization pushing these cases to the mainstream. Please welcome to the show, Natalie Wilson, co-founder of the Black and Missing Foundation. Natalie, welcome to DBL. You know, I have so much respect for you, and you really are doing God's work, trying to provide a service and shedding light to these cases. Why don't we hear about these cases, in your words?
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
And the feedback that we're getting from families is that the cases aren't taken seriously. I'll give you an example. When our children, minority children, are reported missing, oftentimes they're classified by law enforcement as a runaway. So if you're classified as a runaway, you don't get the Amber Alert. You definitely don't get any media coverage at all. And adults are often stereotyped as being involved with some type of criminal activity, or that type of deviant behavior is what happens in those communities. And their lives in these cases, again, just aren't taken seriously.
Thank you for being here. Your organization has helped nearly 400 families get closure. And to be clear, some of those endings were not happy ones. Is there one story that really stands out to you or that has affected you the most?
Well, all of the cases really are so important to us, but I think the catalyst or the inspiration behind the organization is Tamika Houston, who went missing from Spartanburg, South Carolina. And we read how her family, her aunt, who's in my profession, public relations, really struggled to get media coverage, national media coverage. And Natalie Holloway disappeared a year later. Wow. And we all know her name, we know her face. So, you know, it's just disheartening. And our goal is to be advocates for these families, to help them get the assistance from law enforcement and the media coverage needed.
So Natalie, when it comes to solving these cases, you say exposure is the most important thing. Al and I were just talking about that in the break. Can you give us a specific example of how the media has helped a case?
Okay. Well, most recently, there was a child, a 1-year-old, that was missing from Maryland. And on social media, we shared her profile. Someone saw her on a subway in New York. Wow. And contacted law enforcement, and she was able to be rescued. And a couple of years ago, we had a case where we got national coverage. The family was on The View. We were able to take the family on The View. And within 14 minutes of that show airing, we received a tip that led us directly to the young girl who was missing. And within an hour, she was reunited with her family. So that shows the real power of media and why it's needed.
Wow.
Right. And that, you know, as you're talking, it just reminds me that somebody always knows something. It seems like this world is this vast situation with strangers, but everybody kind of knows something. You see a girl that kind of seems out of place at the store and you remember and you call the cops, but people need to know that this is happening in order for this to happen. So I really appreciate what you're doing. And also I wanted to ask you, how do you help families navigate just the sheer heartbreak with these cases?
Well, we ask families to give up, not to give up. To hold on to hope, because sometimes they don't know what to do, and we help them with media coverage, navigating the process with law enforcement, and just to hold on just another day. They know that we are working alongside them, and we're doing everything that we can to help them find their missing loved one.
That's bad.
Natalie, you know, something stuck out to me when you were speaking, that the idea of the information, the media not taking these cases seriously, police not taking these cases seriously, and the fact that we are the most connected that we have ever been in the history of the world. So even when you get something that scrolls across your feed about a missing person, sharing it on your stories can help and change that. So how else do we change the statistics in these cases?
Well, First, awareness is key. We can no longer turn a blind eye because it's not happening to you or your family. It could be any one of us that could be missing. Our mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, valuable members of our community. So what we need our community and law enforcement and the media to do is like these profiles, help them to go viral and share it within the network. We know that we can't get media coverage for every case, but we say less is more. So less of one particular person or race. Let's even the playing field and show more cases, because these families desperately are searching for their missing loved one, and they deserve answers or closure.
Yes, they do. Natalie, thank God for you. To our viewers out there, to get involved, visit the website blackandmissinginc.com. You can literally save someone's life. Natalie, we really appreciate you. Thank you for joining us here at DBL and creating change. Before we go to break, we want to show a couple of active cases. If anyone watching has information, please contact Natalie and her organization.
Thank you.